Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And fairly late since the Christmas meta is over. But Christmas Shizu got her second skill fusion for her 15-point skill, and while we did kind of show her already in the Christmas meta, now is also a good time because we can still take part in some of this at least. So the AoE damage resistance down by 40% is upgraded from like the 15 or something that it was prior to. So it's going to be a lot more powerful now, and it's also for 3 turns, and then we get extra pierce power. So while the Christmas meta is over, we could still use her for like Violet or someone else, Commander Shizu, and that's what we're going to do today. So I still think she's going to be pretty good, especially if you're going to run an actual fire team. That way we can use her first skill. And, she doesn't have an EX Awakening yet, but when she does, I think she'll be a pretty good fire nuker when that time does come. So let's test her out for realsies. Okay, so going back through my previous footage of this Shizu and Christmas Velzard, during the Festive Memories meta, we used this team to fight EX2 trainee, and this was prior to Shizu's skill fusion. So 334,000-ish damage being type advantage with the extra damage buff with the fire and Velzard's personal alt buff and everything. So this was the team that we ran. So we can run something kind of sorta similar. We're gonna swap out Water Rimuru this time for Fire Benimaru because we need the burn and the orb change because we're gonna go in a Tempered Edge versus Clayman, and we can try and do an okay comparison here. Not great, but okay. Velzard is now skill fused. Shizu skill fused, so we're gonna have the full power of Velzard. The only thing we're going to be missing now is the Pierce power buff, because this team is not giving Velzard Pierce. But we still can get the AoE resistance down, and that's pretty good. Alright, turn 1, gotta use Benimaru's Orb Change. This is not a crit-focused team, so we can bring in our characters here. Well, I mean, I do want the protection gauge. Yeah, it's fine. We're fine. We'll just do this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Boom. 6,000, 14,000. We're getting the extra damage buff from Albus because we're Festive Memories versus Earth. We're doing quite a bit of damage. Oh, okay, that's perfect, actually. Excellent. So let's go ahead and just yoink all these orbs into a full 6-hand. We'll use Albus to give everyone a shield. Some of the blue orbs will have some extra skill points to them. And do we do anything else here? I mean, I guess I can do this. So we can make them more blues, because 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, yeah, we get an EX ult for her, if anything. So that's fine. Let's change some of these. Boom. Weakness resistance down. Cool. And then we'll put the Pierce power and AoE debuff on because it lasts for a while, and we're going to pretty much be ready to nuke next turn because we're going to have maximum points. And this will be a very quick fight, but it'll be efficient because we can use the personal buff and then the other Shizu buff, and that's all, 80 points right there, and we're going to be ready to nuke. And I'm fairly certain that we'll be okay. So, personal buffs, that's physical 30%, 100% alt damage, and then the fire and fire resistance down, and that's literally all the buffs we have going for us. And let's just try and compare. I don't know if it's going to be a 1-to-1 unbiased scenario, but we can at least get a pretty vague idea of the damage potential that we have here. And we'll actually watch this ult. So, I think she's going to be fine. She's more of a support than anything else, so like you can use Christmas Shizu as an AoE damage dealer if you really have to, but 350. Okay, well, maybe not quite the same comparison. The stats might be a little bit skewed because we're an EX5 Tempered Edge versus EX2 beatdown battle. Yeah, okay. Well, I mean, there's an example of using her as a support for an AoE character. Let's try something different now. Alright, we're going to use the actual Festive Memories team, since this is now a Pierce AoE fire-focused team. I won't make you watch the entire thing, but we're going to get a nuke turn with Violet against Clayman, and then without using the AoE Shizu buff and the Pierce power, we'll just use the fire buff, and we can see the difference in damage that it's going to give us. With using, minimal other skills besides what we need to do. We just have to last until turn 8 in order to maximize the power here, but I think we can do it. It'll just take some time. So let me make a cut and we'll bring you to that nuke turn. Alright, so here we are on turn 8. We have the EX ult, we've applied the fire buff to Violet, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4 stacks of the barrier. So definitely not the maximum capability, because blues get nerfed halfway through this fight. But we have already applied the fire buff, we've got 4 stacks of the ult, we've got 3 stacks of the ult swap. I didn't want to go too crazy here, because again, blues are nerfed. But let's go ahead and send the ult and see what we get. 5.8 million damage in the true attribute unbound status. Okay, so 5.8, roughly what we're looking at with this team. I swapped out Ritas for Benimar because, again, we need him on turn 1. But now let's run it back and apply one 15-point skill. That's it. We're going to try and shoot for 4 stacks and of Albus and 4 barriers, so we get, 90% weakness strike. We're going to shoot for that, but then just simply apply a 15-point buff and see what the damage increase is. Okay, we are back. Turn 8, EX ult. We've applied the fire buff, and as you can see, we have the AoE debuff already on Clayman. We've got 4 stacks of Albus. We've got 3 stacks of the ult swap, so that's 30% permanent fire buff. And then we also have the barriers. However, we have 1 extra barrier stack here, because we have to give it to everyone in order to make it work. So we will use Violet's skill, give us the points, and then we have to apply Albus to give Momiji the barrier stack. But that's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stacks of the barrier. So we're going to be 10% more weakness strike. But that's the only difference. Like that is the only difference in between this, besides using and not using the second Shizu skill. So now that we've got the stacks, now we can use the Maribel buff and yoink them and give us the weakness strike. And now let's compare the damage output between without the 15-point skill. I don't know why I'm clicking on Momiji right here. Go away. All right, here we go. Violet. Nope, I clicked on you again. Okay, Violet. 35% fire attack. We've got fire attack 50%, pierce power 30%, attack, weakness strike 100% now instead of the 90. And then we have 4 stacks of the ult there. And then Clayman has the ult resistance down and the AoE down. So now we're going to do 10 million damage. That's 1 skill right there. And 10% extra weakness strike, which is negligible. 10 million compared... We doubled our damage by adding 30% pierce power and 40% ult resistance down. And if that doesn't show you like the actual extreme power of AoE and then a little bit of pierce, because we know what pierce does most of the time. Like, we can see 100% pierce damage on stun stuff, and it's okay. But the AoE buff, multiplicative, really sets your AoE damage apart from everything else. So she's going to be really good for any AoE character. Let's do something else that's fun now. Alright, I don't do Valor Cup very often, but I do like to run Commander Shizu in my ranked Valor Cup teams, so we're simply going to add Christmas Shizu. Commander Shizu is fire. She is AoE. She gives herself quite a big buff already with the 100% physical and the 70% EX ult damage. Now we're going to simply add a fire buff, a fire resistance down debuff, and the... I guess we can do a before and after as well on the AoE and the pierce, which we're not going to be piercing here with this team because Xion doesn't give us pierce, but it's at least the AoE debuff, and we can see the damage difference between having the fire buff only and then having the fire and the AoE buff. Okay, well, I forgot to swap Hinata into the second slot, but whatever. Take New Year's Rimuru out. We'll send these 2 orbs for Fire Shizu. Try and get some a Hinata orb on that third or second one that comes in, and we get lucky. Okay, perfect. So 1 and 2. All right, cool. Go ahead and get some points, and then we can yoink all of these. So steal, boom, and then we'll bring Rimuru in for Hinata, and then convert to rainbows. This is prior to his skill fusion, which I don't think I'm going to skill fuse him anyways. And now we can bring Commander Shizu in and do some pretty good damage here. Get her EX ult. Hopefully we don't get cucked at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. That should swap Shuna out. Hopefully whoever comes in doesn't do something to me where I can't ult. Alright, thank you for the counter. Millum. Okay. That's... Oh, she deleted my ult, because that's Freeman's skill. Well, that is certainly unfortunate. Let's get it. Can you do it once or twice? No, you can only do it once. Okay. Alright, so we'll just have to offset a turn here. But we'll get her ult again. Boom. Boom. And then we should be safe here. Being the keyword, the Unleashed Magic State. And 3. Alright, now we're ready to go. So we'll do a before and after. So we'll do the big time buff and just the fire buff. And we will then give ourselves the guaranteed crit and all that. And let's get you in here for Raphael, because you're not going to get any of that crit synergy. Alright, so let's see how this goes. I mean, I know that Shizu can do good damage with her skill. I want to see how much extra damage she can do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we do across the board 336k type neutral. Okay, well that's pretty good. It's not quite enough to do the new damage cap, but 336 is a solid number for anyone who's not trying to do like super janky ranked Valor or something. Okay, well, after we take out the Shuna with Rimuru, we can come back, and then we can do it again, but this time simply add on that 15-point skill, which we had enough points to do, and then we'll see how much that jumps up. Alright, let's do it again. This time we moved Hinata into the correct place, so we can not have to rely on RNG. Let's do 1 and 2. And Magic Seal, so they can't orb change. Yom can't do his physical resistance from that, but Veldora can do his Vengeance skill, which doesn't really matter all that much. So 1 and 2. Alright, thank you for that. Now we can Orb Steal again, and then Rainbow again, and do the same exact thing as last time. And actually, well, hopefully, I didn't check. Magic skills are sealed, which none of these skills that I'm going to use are magic, because it's defense, attack, and attack. So that's fine. So you come in here for Hinata, and we will convert. That's a magic skill, but we're not sealed. And then we'll bring Shizu in. Now we should see some fun. We're still going to Magic Seal, so Yom can't orb change. And we're getting a lot. Oh, right, because we get the extra alt gauge from sending 6 whatever. Alright, the hero is dead here? Question mark? Dead. Okay, so that brings in somebody. Oh, please don't. Okay, good. Please don't seal me. That would be quite unfortunate. Okay, now let's compare that 330-ish K damage to what we're going to do now. So boom, boom, and we have just enough points to use everything. So again, we're not going to benefit off of the Pierce power. We're only going to benefit from the AoE down on the other side. But we did 336k, and now let us compare the damage. And we do 464, so over 100,000 extra, just from a 15-point skill. And that would be damage cap now, I believe. Or very close to. So that's pretty good. And if we can somehow manage to take advantage of the Pierce by bringing a different character, then it's going to be really, really strong. But overall, I think Christmas Shizu got a very good skill fusion. I mean, her first skill fusion really wasn't that impactful. The extra 30% fire resistance down, like, it does help your damage on that specific turn, but a lot of the times we're using that skill and then saving it in the back, so we don't ever actually get to take advantage of the 30% down. But the AoE skill and the pierce power, like, this is something that gives her a lot of value for quite a while, because AoEs are now highly targeted alt attacks. 40% damage resistance down is a multiplicative buff for 3 turns. And then if you can take advantage of the pierce, that's extra power for another 3 turns. So lots and lots of extra damage coming off a very cheap skill. I like it a lot. But let me know in the comments what you think of this Christmas Shizu's second skill fusion. Do you think she's as good as I say she is, or are you not still impressed? Let me know, but that's it from me. Take it easy, and I'll see you all later.